We're going to go for it. Hey, y'all. It's me, Dani Baby. I am in the Denver Community Media studio today with a very lovely human, Miss Leslie. I'm going to let Leslie take over for a second and introduce themselves after we do this part. We got to stim it out a little bit. We got to get ready to listen. So any noise you want to make. Ooh, yeah. Perfect. Thank you. Now you take it all the way away now, Leslie.
Thank you. I'm Leslie Simon. I'm the Communications and Public Relations Specialist at Arvada Center for the Arts and Humanities.
Amazing. Okay. Now, I just want to ask, how in the world did it come into fruition, first of all, that you got involved with Arvada Center and Arts for Humanities? How did you get involved with them? And what was the drive to have you maybe even change like a career path in order to be more involved in something community like this?
Yeah. Okay. Let's see if I can tell my life story in a tiny little bit.
We can hop around, honey.
Growing up, I was always in theater. I was a theater kid. I was a weird kid. I was the new kid. Theater was a good place for a new kid to have a home and have weird friends and stuff like that, or for my weirdness to be embraced.
Yeah.
And so it was only natural then when I went to college, I got an acting degree.
Okay.
After college, all of my my classmates all went to New York to be in theater. I've always had this thing where I had to be different. So I went to LA to be in film, crashed and burned within a year, should have gone to New York. Everyone else is still in New York.
Yeah.
And went back to Texas, kind of tail between my legs, feeling like I had failed, and stopped any sort of theater and started working at law firms because those jobs were plentiful in Houston and they paid a lot. And that's where I learned how to write and how to proof things. After about 10 years of that, I hated it. I absolutely hated it. And I would go home and I would drink every night to cope with feeling completely not in the life that I was supposed to be in. Made some changes. Finally, around 30, I was like, this is not the way it's going to be. Left a relationship, moved to a different city, met the man who's now my husband, came up here to Denver and realized that I needed to quit drinking if I was going to do anything that I wanted to do. And so I quit drinking. That was 12 years ago.
Woo! Let me give you some honor for that.
Started like committing to artistic and creative endeavors. I started a music blog, was a concert photographer, then Westward hired me to do that, and that was great, but it was still, I was alone, and I wanted to be part of a team.
Yeah.
I had mentioned to some friends that I was open to looking for some new content writing position, and my friend Lacey saw that Arvada Center had a content and grant writer position open. I had never written a grant, so I was like, I don't want to do it. Like, they won't hire me. And she was like, this is your job. This is you. And so I applied, not thinking I'd get it. And then when I went in, they were like, oh, we'll teach you how to write a grant. They were just looking for the right person.
Right.
So, started there and boom, oh my gosh, I'm using my theater degree. You know, I mean, it's like took 15 years, but now I feel like I'm in the place that I was supposed to be all along, although I'm actually grateful for kind of dropping out and then coming back in because I appreciate it so much more now, and I know for a fact that this is what I'm supposed to be doing.
That's amazing. I really recognize like how you move within that community. That's why I was so drawn to you, how we met. Julius, who's also my producer, had us come in with the plug to interview for Our Town. And I was so honored to interview some actress, Samantha Peel. And I didn't even know you were really part of it. We saw each other like at the stairs and you were like, I think you're lost. Let me take you where you need to go. And we're like, your outfit's amazing. Your outfit's amazing. And I think that there was just like this, just like energetically right away. I was like, these are my people. This is like someone that I really resonate with because your energy is so earnest, you know? And I think that in a day and age too, sometimes where we're living in a parallel of like wanting to be present, but also knowing we have to have so much foresight and we have to be ahead and then trying to heal our trauma. You were very present in that moment for me. And I don't think you even knew I was going through some stuff at the moment. And you just boosted my confidence just by being like, wow, your existence is wonderful. So exist as you do, you know? So with that, just hearing your journey moving, you know, out of like maybe some things that we were using to mask. I too am almost 5 years alcohol free, and that changed the whole vernacular that I was seeing things through. It didn't eliminate the fact that I had drama to still deal with.
No, definitely not. That surfaced even more.
Yes, it did. But then we chose ourselves, and then also what you were saying is that I want to work with a team, you know, and just that whole community aspect of it is so important, you know, to myself. I see that it's important to you. And so just being in the position that you're in and how we've met and everything, Denver as a whole or Colorado as a whole, what do you think is something that's maybe missing in the scene of accessibility to arts?
I think a lot of that is maybe awareness. I mean, this is such a vibrant place that everybody wants to live, and you have people coming in from all over the place, and people who are new and excited, but they don't necessarily know what's going on outside of, you would look to Denver Center, you know, and not realizing that there's all these other neighborhoods, and it's kind of like a lot of small towns crammed into each other.
It is.
And everyone has kind of their own things. But what I notice working at the Arvada Centers, for instance, our actors, they work at all these places. So they are one happy family. And so, it's kind of an awareness for all the different patrons in these communities of how do we make us one big happy family.
Absolutely. So just collecting and connecting.
Definitely.
I love that. You're really good at facilitating that, especially like I want to give honor constantly through this interview, just of like what you've even allowed me to see the importance of in community. And so one of the biggest things that has stuck out to me is anytime before the beginning of a play, you all give honor to the land that we're on, which is so huge. And I don't hear a lot of that in Colorado, giving honor to the indigenous folks that actually come from this land. And you doing that really kind of bridged the gap of safety and inclusion that allows people to be seen and heard for who they are, and that they'll be safe coming into Arvada Center. So just with that, as a person that really enjoys inclusion, was something that really stuck out to me. Also, I am a neuro person, so I have a lot of sensory issues, and I didn't really understand. I hadn't been to a professional production of a play ever in my life until you introduced me to that. And that really just brought something out in me that I really wish I would have had as a young queer person. Again, I didn't even know I was queer. I didn't know I was neuro. I just thought I was a complicated young person. And so I masked all the time.
Right.
And you just gave me the safe space to just like exist, whether, you know, just your inclusion to humanity in general allowed that safe space to exist. And so just seeing the diversity that is in Arvada Center and what y'all are doing there and what you are bringing to light for young people. And I'm not trying to, you know, put it in a box or anything. There's so many expressions in there, and you give honor to every portion of it. So just in that, is there a favorite show or something that's in the works that you're really excited to see because you're seeing the talent of some of these folks coming through?
I mean, honestly, since we came back from the pandemic, I have been so excited about everything we're doing. There was a moment where we didn't know if theater was going to continue.
Right.
We're fortunate that the city of Arvada owns the building we are in.
Okay.
So we weren't going to necessarily get kicked out for not paying the rent or something. And
right.
So that gave us the opportunity to try some new things, to do some virtual theater. And it was great to have the opportunity to do virtual theater, but we just realized that it was so important to connect together in person. And so once we were able to start having audiences back in I just had a newfound appreciation for everything that we do there. We currently have what you saw, Natasha Pierre and the Great Comet of 1812.
So good.
Yeah, I mean, this is a big step for us.
Yeah.
Immersive theater. We've, have seats on the stage where people are sitting, and we just wondered, like, how are our long-term donors who have subscription packages in their seats that they sit in every year, are they going to like this when we suddenly move them all around? And I mean, so far though, it's just the experiment is fascinating, and everyone is having a great time. I honestly can't stop thinking about it. I need to, because I need we're starting to market the next production, and I'm still just kind of stuck on that. I loved the fact that so many of the actors play instruments.
Right.
So you just got a little bit of that scope too. And it's just been a lot of fun just watching the actors challenge themselves, our production people, our ushers challenge themselves, and everyone just really stepping up to try something new. All of that has been exciting. I can't talk about anything that we're doing.
No, I know. I wasn't going to.
Because we will be announcing the new theater season in March. But we're certainly dedicating ourselves to telling different people's stories and making sure that the people in our community, the diverse people, are recognizing themselves on the stage and feeling comfortable coming in.
Yeah. You definitely give an amazing platform for that. And I think it's also really, for me, it was just a profound experience as a young queer person. I wouldn't have had that representation, but now that I'm the representation I always needed, I'm like taking my younger self to plays because of you. You know, I get to go explore these things because of you. So the question I have for you is, how do you feel that your younger self would be celebrating you right now?
I think, well, younger self would be surprised that I was working behind the scenes and wasn't the lead star, because at the time I thought that was the only thing. You're the lead and everyone's looking at you. And then as you grow up and experience more theater and get out of like the high school realm, you realize there is a ton of people on, behind the stage, like putting this on. And it's a lot easier on your mental health, or at least my mental health. To sell tickets and get people excited rather than to pour my heart and soul out on the stage. I think I kind of lost the question.
Oh, no, just would your younger self be celebrating you, or how would they perceive you?
Right. Okay. So then, my younger self would love me. My hair is just kind of blonde right now, but oftentimes it's neon green. I think, I'm 44 and just kind of going by my own music. And young me would love, I don't want to call myself old me right
this
now.
Version.
Young me would love current me, I think.
Yeah, I love that. Young me would love current me. Is there anything that you think that your younger self would say directly to you right now?
Younger me would probably, because at that time, my goal was to win an Oscar. So it was, everything had to be, the ultimate. So younger me would probably be, where's Arvada? Or would be surprised I was in Colorado. I think younger me would probably think I should be in New York or LA. But I can tell younger me that there are vibrant regional theater communities out there that I actually found to be a much better home for myself than being in just the largest industries and markets.
Right. Do you think that you have that your relationships have a little bit more of a foundation at this point versus when you had more of the mentality of I want to be front and center versus being more community? Do you think that you have a little bit more of, just a grounded respect for the relationships that you are in, the platonic spaces, the work spaces?
Completely. I mean, back then it was just very selfish and self-centered and thinking about me and the Oscar that I was going to get. And then, but once I took the alcohol away, the ego kind of settled. I went into therapy and I realized that I was much more passionate about being a cheerleader for others and to use my energy for good to help other people, kind of reach their dreams.
I think we're really parallel on that. I always say that my art form is honoring others' art forms, because it's hard for me to consider myself like an artist to the way that I see art, because it's just my little brain and what it does to me. But just being in that parallel of like how you honor folks and their art form, how you honor them as the representation they're being for themselves. Like anytime I'm like go into the Arvada Center, everybody's like, we love Leslie. We love them. They're so amazing. They're so kind to us every time. And there's something so potent about going into a space where somebody sees you as an earnest person and being attached to like, oh, that's another connection. And like, I get to kind of ride on that coattail because people are like, if you're friends with Leslie, then you must be a good person. And so just so you know that, like what I've seen and how you're moving within this community, I don't see you slowing down. In fact, I see more flowers getting thrown at you for, kind of bridging the gap for a lot of folks, especially myself as a queer person that didn't feel like there was accessibility for myself or like, worthiness for me to be in these, in these realms. Like I lived a lot of my life in survival mode, so goals were never really a thing. They were like, they kind of came together, I guess. Like goals and survival were the same thing. And so now you have me thinking more about the future, for the future, obviously, of younger folks, but even the future of how I continue to open myself up to receive these new versions of myself. And it's just so damn encouraging. So I just wanted to say thank you. But is there any way that you could kind of tell us if there's, like, if we wanted to support something like Arvada Center, what would be the steps of us coming in to be a supporter of what you all are doing there?
Yeah, I mean, the first step is just come and check out the programming. We have 3 art galleries. They're free and open to the public 7 days a week. That's the easiest, most accessible step. I mean, our parking is free. We have a very large parking lot. It's actually one of our big, like, pros.
It's everything.
Anyone can just come in and wander around and absorb. You're probably going to hear some children practicing Broadway tunes. You might hear some senior citizens tap dancing. There's lots of sounds going on. And then, I really think, and going deeper into that, we often have artist talks in the galleries where the artists will talk deeper about their works. And I think that stuff like that is so important to learn what's going on in the artist's mind, and then because it's more than just looking at a beautiful photo or a beautiful painting, it's like you get to really understand all the meaning behind it and how much like heart and soul this person put into it. And then from there, you can check out a theater performance or something. And then I think the ultimate is taking a class. And we have lots of education where you learn how to be the art creator, so that you're creating as well. I feel like everyone should be creating, even if no one sees it. Like, it's just because it feels good to create.
Absolutely. Is there a form of creation that you enjoy most for yourself? And again, you don't have to answer these questions. I'm getting, I'm like digging.
It's probably guitar. That was my minor. I've played guitar since I was 13, and my minor was music theory. And so I figured if I wasn't going to be an actor, I would be a giant rock star. That was plan B. But honestly, I put it down for a while because I didn't feel like I was this amazing lead guitarist. And then during the pandemic, when everything stopped and I couldn't go to concerts, which is my happy place.
Oh, God. I feel that. Live music. I have to have it, but yes, continue.
So I picked up my guitar again to make music for myself, and it was amazing. And I was like, why did I drop this?
Right.
And so now I try to play almost every day, and if I don't, or anytime I'm getting depressed, I'm like, when's the last time I picked up my guitar?
Right.
And I'm like, a month. You pick it up, and then it's just amazing. I just, to sing and play at the same time. It's just like this energy flow that I love. So that's definitely my go-to. But I mean, at this point, it's fun because I don't set any expectations of other people to hear what I'm doing, because then I start getting nervous. And
Same.
So it's just for me.
Yeah, no, and I feel you on that because I used to live a lot of life as comparison, because I think just my nurture kind of taught me it was judgment, right? So I was like either judging myself or judging another person. And so the things that brought others joy, I would judge versus the things that brought me joy, and I would judge that. And so like just setting time aside for yourself to express yourself and not compare, because that will rob you of your joy of expression, is super huge. And so just, I think that we also in this society, we're always, and I surmise you get told this a lot, like, I would never guess your age at that. We're always being like, oh, you look like you're barely going to hit 30. And it's just like, I'm kind of tired of that ageism getting thrown at us, because then it's like, you're going to box me in. And so what should I be doing at 40?
Yeah. When does life end?
Yeah.
I didn't get the memo.
Right. And so my expressions have changed, things that would have like enhanced my joy 20 years ago to what enhances my joy now. 20 years ago was masking with alcohol.
Yeah.
And now it like the joy for me is just immersing myself in my community and listening to stories. And that's why I find you to be one of the most fascinating people, especially getting to watch some of your social media and just how you move in the community and what ignites you. It's all very community based. And obviously, we need more of that because, again, I didn't have that representation. Maybe you didn't have that representation within platonic intimacies of sharing joy in that instead of comparing what is our joy. And so just getting to sit with you even when we've had coffee and just to hear your expression there to when we're at the center, about ready to watch a play, which you've so graciously given me opportunities to see things that I would have probably never gotten to see without your without your gifts. But I just want to give you a few more flowers to that. Is, friend, I don't think you realize sometimes the impact that you have on people by just being present with them and making eye contact and giving them your undivided attention. I for a long time wasn't getting taken seriously for just existing as I do. And I think sometimes it's a little odd in Colorado, sometimes just like our expression and how we dress, people are so observant over that, So like I'm going out and like, what we're wearing today and it's our expression. We feel bold and wonderful and confident. But I wouldn't have done that even like 15 years ago. And so to like see someone like you across the street and I'm like, oh my gosh, okay, yay, I'm not alone, it's just empowering. And so just you showing up and existing as you do right there is like the biggest testament to just inclusion, earnesty, and you just have a very vibrant spirit that allows people to not feel intimidated, but to feel empowered. And I just don't I don't think you realize that magic that you have, and maybe you're not supposed to because that is the magical part,
Right. I think maybe if I was aware, then I'd be a little obnoxious.
Yeah. Right. But same. There are times when I let the vanity out because why not?
Yeah, that's fine. I mean, we know we're awesome.
Exactly. But I also just to also talk about like live shows. Does Arvada do like live outdoor events at the Arts Center for Humanities? Do you do outdoor things in the summer?
Yeah. In the summer, we have our summer concert series. That is also, I can't tell you any of those
I
names,
just want to know.
Some, national touring acts and a mix of cultural favorites. But yeah, we have a 1,600 seat outdoor amphitheater.
Okay.
Where we have concerts during the summer. And actually that amphitheater saved us a little during the pandemic because we got to have one of our musicals. We put it on outside so that we could have space around the audience members. So that was pretty cool because it's usually rock bands, bluegrass bands or anything. And so it's pretty neat to see $1 Million Quartet and all these actors out there, pretending to be Elvis up there. So
that's amazing.
We made the best of it.
Yeah.
And I mean, we'll have different special events here and there. We're trying to work on more cultural events where we will allow just different communities to use our space. So that stuff is like what we're working on now. Hopefully, you mentioned the land acknowledgement earlier, and we are working with Native American communities here on how to expand so we're not just making that land acknowledgement. We need to, that's a first step, but we need to do more. So we have this large sculpture field that we want that we're going to turn into a proper sculpture park.
Okay.
And it will be heavily informed by what the Native American people that we're working with want,
Yeah.
And so I'm just really excited to see what happens with that.
Yeah, me too. And I also want to dive into a couple more things, friend. Just a few more minutes of your time, if that's okay.
Of course. Yeah, this is easy.
Favorite concert that you've ever been to or band you enjoy?
Now everyone's going to know I'm a big dork. Okay.
I love being known as a dork, friend.
So I've seen the jam band Fish 182 times now since 1997. I don't even know how to pick a best show, but it's definitely a Fish show.
Absolutely.
Because those at Fish shows, I feel like it's more than just a rock concert. I mean, it's spiritual, it's community. I mean, I go to 182 shows because of the Fish community.
Yeah.
The band is great, but it's the people I'm addicted to.
Love it.
So I would say probably the best Fish show I've seen is one I haven't seen yet, because we're always, waiting for the next big thing.
I love that. Okay. Are they going to be in Colorado then, since you must be up to speed with that?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
They just announced their summer tour dates, I think, 2 days ago. So they'll be playing Dick's Sporting Goods Stadium for 4 days. Is the Labor Day weekend. That's at the end of August.
Yeah, I think so.
Let me know if you want to come. To
I want to come. I was just going to tell you. Then I can be official. Oh, God. Amazing. Okay. And so obviously they probably consider you like part of the family. Have you gotten to like meet them and hang out with them, or is it just more the community surrounding it?
I don't want to meet them.
Okay, I love it. Okay.
I got them on pedestals. But I did actually interview the bassist for when I was writing for the Westward, and he was lovely, and he sang to me.
Oh, wow. Serenade.
But otherwise, I kind of like to keep my distance. But I imagine that if I were to meet them, the lead singer and guitarist Trey Anastasio he's been in recovery and he's a big influence for me. So I already have it planned out that I would say, I quit drinking 12 years ago and thank you.
I love that, though.
Just in case.
Yeah. You're actually reminding me of, I recently got to do some B-roll for Greenhouse Denver. If you don't know about them, I'm going to connect you to them soon. But my friend Jules was taking photographs and getting video for when Jane Fonda was here during this whole event about just the ecoclimate here, what is happening to the community that is in Commerce City, and just the poisons that are being released into the water and into the air, and just like how I-70 was actually created to completely split a community. And so Jane Fonda came into town, and it was one of those moments like, I don't need to meet you and hug you. Like, you're on a pedestal in my mind, but also like just hearing that person speak and just like the fervency in which she exists was like so potent. I didn't need anything else, So I totally understand that space. But yeah, just to say that Denver's cool. You can come and visit, and we're growing in just the things that are happening here. So is there a concert venue here in Denver that you enjoy the most? I think I'm going to know.
I mean, it's hard not to say it's Red Rocks, considering it is amazing. But if we take Red Rocks away, Mission Ballroom.
Come on now.
Because it was made by concert lovers for concert lovers.
Absolutely.
The way the seating is. I'm kind of short, so at GA shows, I often will get swallowed alive if I don't have a crew of people around me. But the way the seating is there, I always have so much dance room, and it's just so easy.
Stim it out.
And I mean, I guess the only thing I deal with is I don't really like the parking lot,
Oh, God, it's horrible.
But if that's the worst thing, then take an Uber.
I totally agree with you.
I think that we're so lucky to have Mission Ballroom here.
I agree. I thought that I had been to great venues until I went to Mission, and just the sound and everything. Because I only live like a few blocks from some of the big ones right on Colfax, Fillmore, Ogden, and then
I love Bluebird too, though.
I love Bluebird.
I gotta give my love to Bluebird.
Thank you. I love that. There's some really good shows that come through Bluebird, and it's a whole community in there. Like, oh yeah, we could talk about music all damn day.
Yeah, we could. An hour about music.
Yeah.
So try not to go there.
No, but again, I just wanted to acknowledge like what fuels your, or what refills your cup, what fuels your, the spark in which you allow other people to have their minds changed by something that maybe they had been so stuck to in their thinking. The way that you exist allows people to like change their mind about things and stepped into a different version of themselves, and that is just simply by you existing. You don't even have to say anything. So I just wanted everyone to capture a little bit of just the experience that it is to be around you on the mic today.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. So y'all, I just I'm going to go ahead and wrap things up here. We were speaking today just with the Arvada Center Arts for Humanities. I just say Arvada Center because it's just like.
You need to say Arvada Center.
Wait, can you properly introduce that one more time?
Arvada Center for the Arts and Humanities.
Okay, that's what it is, y'all. But if you haven't gone through there, or if you haven't researched them, I'm still learning every day what they offer, what they are bringing to light, and the beautiful work that they are doing in the community. Always in inclusion and diversity, honoring that always. If you haven't checked them out, please do so. They have so many incredible events coming up, as they always do. But you can also tune in to their pages online. I will link this in the podcast so that you can all stay up to date with them. And again, just stay tuned, follow our stories, because Leslie and I are always going to be doing something, linking up. But one question I just would like to ask as we're parting ways is, what would you say now? Because we had your younger self talking to this version of yourself. And as you're sitting in this chair and you're hanging out with this lunatic, Dani, what is something that you would say to your younger self today as you are?
Open the scope. I was looking, I thought that life could only be one way, and here's the one way. Know that there's lots of different paths you can take, and they're all the right path as long as it's what you feel inside. So just, keep your mind open.
I love that. Thank you so much, friend, for sitting with me today. Again, I just want to let you all know this is recorded here at Denver Community Media. It's a great spot, funded for the ability for people that maybe don't have the financial backing to do the things that I'm doing, because I don't have the financial backing either. We come from a land of enjoying barter. So it's definitely a great location to check out, Denver Community Media. They do a lot of things here in the community as well. And also, just to let you know, I'm not here in a way of trying to encourage anyone. I'm simply telling my story, sitting in a parallel with someone that is also in that expression. And so again, it's not coming from a place of like, be encouraged by this. If it resonates, great. If it doesn't, then pass it along to someone who it does, because sometimes representation is all we need in order to step into this version of ourselves that we want to continue becoming. So with that being said, just take care of yourselves and continue creating earnestly in love. Appreciate y'all.
Worried over nothing.
So yeah, that's what we do in here, friend.